All right, so we got Big Bae'Jon in the building. What's up with it? How you doing?
What's up? I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I appreciate you pulling up. It really means a lot, for
Thank
real.
you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, just to get started and everything, talk about, where you from and, what your upbringing was like. I know you said you from Temple Hills, so, like, talk a little bit about what it was like growing up there.
Yes, so I'm from Temple Hills, Maryland. I've lived everywhere due to jobs and everything like that. Also because of the current areas, it might not have been what it was supposed to be at the time. So my family and I my family wanted to move my twin brother and I to a better area. From Temple Hills though, but you could say I'm not gonna say I'm from everywhere because I'm not from everywhere, but I've been everywhere. I am a model, I'm an actress, and I'm also an artist as well. So I do a lot. I'm an entrepreneur as well, and I'm a mom, first and foremost.
So, kind of like back to you, your childhood and everything. How did, like, moving around, how did that, like, shape your personality and, like, how you view the world and everything?
I want to say very cultural, I guess you could say. Very diverse. There we go. That's a better word. Very diverse. I'm not going to say we used to live in the hood, but we lived in the hood, and we've been around, but we've also lived in the suburbs as well. That kind of influenced my brother and I to be people. I guess you could say people of all people. So therefore, we know how to deal with everybody. We might be able to be a little hood, a little gangster at times, and then we also might be able to be uppity and can basically speaking in a way. How can I say this? Basically speaking in a way that fits the environment at the time. So like, if you're in a professional environment, you speak professional. If you're around, your friends or whatever the case may be, you know how you speak around your friends. Different adults, whites, blacks, Indians, whatever the case may be. So I want to say we were very well rounded.
What was your relationship like with your brother, growing up and, like, today?
I'm not going to lie. My twin brother and I, we used to fight like cats and dogs. We used to fight like cats and dogs. I'm not gonna lie, that's the most reason why I do know, how to, protect myself today is because of my twin brother and also my dad as well. So, he taught us everything about self-defense, but our relationship now is actually really great. It's great, we talk about everything. Before we used to, you know, his life was his life, my life was our life. I mean, my life was my life, and but we both were, we did sports, so he just would do boy things and I would do girl things. But it would kind of be funny because in school people would think we were boyfriend and girlfriend because of how close we were. But it's like they were like, "You're boyfriend and girlfriend?" No, that's my twin brother. Ew, don't even think about that. Like, but other than that, no, our relationship is actually really great now. Yeah, it's great now.
And with, you being a model and, acting and doing music, was that something like that you kind of always had, in mind that you'd want to do, like, from a young age, or just something you kind of came into?
I want to say no. I'm gonna be really honest with you. No. My passion when I was younger was to be a veterinarian. I loved animals. I'm a nature girl, animal girl. I love animals, right? And then it's simultaneously graduated to me loving people. I've always been a people's person, right? But I started out with kids, and I've always had a passion for kids. I feel like I can connect with them on a different level, and coach them, mentor them, and no, to answer your question. But as I gradually, started to learn myself, I've always done sports. Sports 25/8. I ran track. I did flag football, played basketball. Even swam here and there, but not for a team or anything, just to to do it. But other than that, no, that wasn't really, something that I was looking into because I always thought I was going to make it to the Olympics or, just, own my own business and things like that. But I never really thought that I was going to be like, or grow old and be like, hey, I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to be a celebrity. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say I've had idols. I didn't have idols. I've had a favorite artist, and my favorite artist was Aaliyah. and rest in peace to her beautiful soul. And I used to dance and do choreography as well. So that was mainly like my thing, was just, learning about animals and dancing. And I used to do tap dance and ballet and everything like that. So that was more so what, I was thinking of I was going to be when I grew up, but completely changed.
Yeah, and I was like you mentioned Aaliyah, like I was gonna ask like who was some of like your influences growing up? Out, you mentioned Aaliyah, but
Aaliyah, because I feel like I can relate to her in a way. Kind soul, beautiful soul, a people's person, loves kids. She did a lot too. She did everything as well. But I feel like I can relate to her in a way. I can also sing as well. So that's another thing. I used to not really study her, but let me say this. She carried herself a way, because she was young, she carried herself a way that a woman should. And me realizing that at such a young age is beyond me, but I gravitated towards her and been loving her ever since. Like, she speaks to my soul, I guess. That's for a lot of people.
So out of singing or just music in general, acting, modeling, what would you say you're most passionate about?
That's a great question. Between singing, modeling, and acting.
Or if you had like a 1, 2, and 3, you could like rank
Okay,
them.
we can put it in order because I love all of them. So, I want to say being an artist would be number one, because that's like a let out for me. I'm able to express myself in a way that may be hard to express. I don't necessarily really talk to anyone about any issues I may have going on, but to God, obviously. So that's a way that I'm able to have an outlet through music. I want to say for my second, dancing. Dancing would be another thing. I want to say that's similar to me singing as well. It's another outlet for me. Like, I can move and feel free or whatever the case may be. So that's another thing. And then I guess third would be acting. I never would have thought I would have been an actress. But here I am.
So how did you get your start in the music?
Here we go. I was waiting for this question. Believe it or not, I used to sing in a choir. I used to sing in a choir, and I used to sing in elementary and middle school. And I loved it. And it was just very, very different for me. But what actually really started me out into actually making music, rest in peace to my ex-manager, his name is Tech Sosa. And I remember like one day we were in a studio, and this is a little backstory to why I began to do it. But one day I was in a studio. I mean, we were in there all day, all night. Over 12 hours, right? And he used to make beats. He was well-rounded in everything. So he made beats. He knew how to mix them. He knew how to master them. He even knew how to record, meaning how to, do it. So, and a lot of people, it's hard for them to do that. So, but we were just sitting there, and then he made this little fire beat, and I remember it kind of went like dun 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 dun, and I'm like, I'm looking at him, right, and I'm looking at the stems, right, so I'm looking, this is hard, but I'm looking at him move his little hands on the keyboard too. I'm like, how the hell is he doing that? Like, so I'm so intrigued, but I'm sitting there, we talking or whatever, and then he's like, I need you on this right now. So I look at him like, you need me on what? I need you on this beat. I said, what do you mean you need me on this beat? What am I supposed to do on this beat? Like, I never did anything on a beat before. So he's like, just be you. Like, just feel the beat. Like, feel the vibration through it. Let it speak to you. So I'm like, okay. He's like, you used to sing, right? And I'm like, yeah, but that's like in the shower. That's not like never in this type of setting. So he makes me go in the booth. I go in the booth, And I always remember, this is another thing, shout out to Migos, but they're the ones who actually taught me how to do my ad libs. Yeah. Right? And Fat Tro too. Fat Tro was another person I used to look like looking so heavy because the all that, right? So I'm like, oh shit, I gotta do that. So I'm feeling the beat, I'm feeling the motion of the music, and it feels like I have a feeling that I've never really necessarily felt before. I felt like my vibration was increasing, right? So it's playing, and then mind you, it feels like I'm in a secluded bubble. So I'm feeling it a little bit more. And mind you, like I said, I've never been in this setting, and this was a very professional studio. So we had the big window. Mind you, I'm looking at him continuing to make the beat as I'm spitting on the beat, right? But so other than that, it was literally just ad libs. And because I was so like stuck and I didn't, necessarily know how to spit on it, I just did ad libs, and he loved it. And I just was in the studio every day since then. And I want to say from then on, I maybe started taking it serious about maybe like 1 or 2 years after that, seriously. But then once I really started to, continue in on doing it, I've been in it ever since. So that's really how I came up, doing music, because of him.
How did you singing in the church, do you feel like that like kind of like shaped your style musically in any way?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I want to say that's another thing that actually brought me closer to God. It's funny because I was so young back then doing it, but I've always been, close to God. I've always been, as you can say, one of the chosen ones. So definitely, I want to say, definitely for sure. For sure. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't even be singing now. My older brother, he can sing as well. So it kind of runs, in the family a little bit. But he actually coaches me sometimes, through the, the little vocals that we have to do at the vowel vocals that we usually do. But yeah, I want to say definitely, for sure.
And what is your like creative process like when you are making music?
You have to understand what it is that you want to do first. Understanding, number one. 2, knowing your sound and the sound that you want to do. Maybe, if it's your first time, you may have a few artists that you may listen to, and you may want to try to sound like them. And what you do is you study it, and then you practice. And that's what I used to do, at least, like what I said with Aaliyah. I used to practice some vocals, even Chris Brown, but it's some things that some techniques that I was taught, I used to do, incorporating into listening to my favorite artists. So I am a freestyler, but I'm also a writer, right? Now, I'm a writer in writing poems, not music. Yeah. But I'm a freestyler in music, not poems. Make sense? So like if I was to spit a poem to you, I would be all stuck in my words. But if I was to freestyle to you, I would be able to freestyle to you. But what I do is I just, allow my producer to, play the beat. No offense to anybody who uses YouTube beats, but I don't use YouTube beats. I've been there, done that, figured all that out, did my research with that. I'm cool on that. So my engineer, he actually makes beats for me. He either has some that he's already made, or he'll either make some right then and there. So as I'm listening to, the beat or whatever, like I said, there's this mode that I put myself in. And as I'm hearing the beat, I may like write a few words, and then I'm like, I'm ready to go. Let's go. And then that's what I do. I may get stuck here and there, but if I get stuck, I'll write a few more words and then just go off of those words. Yeah.
When you talked a little bit earlier about, your ex-manager and,
Yes.
The role that he, played in your musical career, just
Yes.
talk a little bit more about like, especially, with him, not being here anymore. Is there like a certain type of like motivation you have to keep going, to kind of like honor him and, what he meant to you?
Definitely. My ex-manager, he was very, rest in peace, man. I love you so much, and this is definitely for you. And I know you're listening right now. But and all his family and everybody, that knew him. Definitely a big motivation to keep going. He's actually one of the reasons why I did keep going. I'm not gonna lie, like I kind of steered away a little bit when he passed away. The backstory to that is honestly a little crazy. Like, and I feel like it was kind of like a cry out for help, but me not realizing what it was, like I wasn't fully paying attention, and that ended up being the last time I talked to him. But definitely a big movement of motivation for me to continue to do so. Like I said, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am today. He's introduced me to a number of artists. You know, he's introduced me to a number of platforms. He told me the do's and don'ts of the industry. He's definitely helped me get my name out there a lot, especially with these radio DJs and club DJs and things like that. So yeah, I want to say definitely a big motivation for me to keep going.
Is it more natural for you, or is singing more natural for you, or like rapping?
Both. But I want to say probably singing because that's what I started out in doing. My voice is more comfortable with that. Yeah, that makes sense.
What's been one of your, if you have one, favorite songs that you've done so far?
Mine or period?
Mm-hmm.
Mine?
That you've done, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I have about 40 plus songs saved up in the vault, and I've only released two. And asking me my favorite one out of all of those is a little hard, but my favorite one out of those, because it speaks a lot of value. Okay, there's three. I'm gonna say three. I'm gonna give you three. My top one is called Lion. Backstory behind that, we'll know about that a little later. Lion is definitely probably one of my favorite ones because of the cadence. I'm actually singing and rapping a little bit in that. And it was during a time where like, it was kind of like a rough spot for me. You know, us ladies, sometimes we have guy issues or whatever the case may be. So like I said in the beginning of this interview that, you know, music is one of my my outlets. So I was just expressing myself into one of those, and you know, and it's funny because when I first recorded the song, I never liked it. Like I'm listening to it like, I cannot stand this. But shout out to my mom, shout out to my sister Kathy, and shout out to everybody else that loved this song. They love it. And my mom, she's like one of my biggest fans. So she tells all her people about it, her job, whatever, tells everybody about it. But Lion is definitely probably one of my favorite ones. Second is Big Bae'Jon. Big Bae'Jon definitely, because Big Bae'Jon states who I am. And shout out to my son because he's in the video, so go tap in. Okay. Yeah, Big Bae'Jon definitely states who I am, so go stream them. Go stream those two guys, y'all. It'll give you a lot about who I am, what I do, and what I'm doing it for. My third song is I have not dropped yet, and that one's called Company, and that one is more so like R&B, singing, no rapping on it. So it's definitely a different vibe. No one's ever heard me sing like this before, so you know, from the people that did hear it in private, they love it, and they always say, you know, what's the saying? It sounds like you're already on, like, you know. So I'm gonna drop it so everybody can hear it and get a feel of that side of me. It's more of a feminine side, like not a you niggas be blind for what? Like it's not little baby is Big Bae'Jon. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not none of that. It's more so like I'm speaking to a man. Okay. You know, yeah.
And you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but like talk about, you know, the support you've gotten from like your family and, you know, your close friends and, you know, with your career and everything and all that you've done.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I have a major support from my family. Major support from my family, as I stated, my mom, she's one of my biggest fans. My older brother, I have an older brother who's done music. He actually used to sing, remember the show Sunday's Best? You don't remember the show Sunday's Best? Okay, you know American Idol.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so it was around then. Like,
okay.
How can I remember the show in? It's a gospel show. Yes, it's a gospel show. Kay, Mary Kay. What is their names? Hold on, give me a second. I gotta look it up. I'm sorry. Hold on. It's in my head right now. It's literally in my head. Somebody do something. It's like, what was it? No, the sisters. Their names.
Oh, Mary.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You got it. Okay. Yes. They were the host of that.
Yeah.
You don't remember Sunday's Best?
Uh-uh.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so my brother, he was one of the nominees on Sunday's Best. So, like I said, it runs in the family. Actors run in the family. What is it? Big time sports players run in the family. Singers run in the family. Like, we're well rounded in everything that we do. But let me see. Like I said, my brother was my coach in that, so he was definitely one of my bigger supporters as well. My dad he might not say too much, like my dad is the chill, little laid back, he might not say too much, but if the song is playing, his head is bobbing, okay? For sure. My friends, yes, definitely. I don't call my friends because friends end. I call my friends family. There's only a select few. I don't have a whole lot of friends. I don't associate myself with a lot of people. And it's reasons behind that. Not negative reasons, but some of negative, of course, but mostly positive.
What's been like your biggest challenge, musically so far, or just like doing music in general?
My biggest challenge in music was actually learning how to record and engineer myself. That was definitely one of the hardest parts, actually, because you have to learn the system. You got to know what you're doing in the system. You have to, basically, if you want to know what you're doing, then you just pay attention to your engineer, okay? Or ask questions, because closed mouths don't get fed. And I never even knew I was going to come to a point where I was going to actually have to record myself. So shout out to Big Bae'Jon, because Big Bae'Jon was actually recorded on my laptop. Okay, at home, okay? And you would never know that. But I did have help on that. So shout out to the person who, helped me on that. But yeah.
How do you feel about the female rap or just music scene in general? And then how do you feel about the DMV music scene as a whole?
Okay. The female rap scene, I feel like I feel like we are doing a damn thing. I feel like we really taking over. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I really feel like we taking over, and I feel like this is very great for us. And this is really great for us because when's the last time you've seen multiple females in the industry doing their damn thing? Other than when Left Eye and them was popping, TLC, back when Evie Eve was popping, and who else? Lil' Kim, and it's been like, think of the age gap. I mean, not the age gap, but think of the timeline in between. It's been years, maybe decades too, maybe about what was that? 2 decades.
Yeah, really since them, it really was like Nicki were holding it down.
My point. And then came Cardi.
Like Cardi, yeah.
And then came
Meg.
Yeah. True. Damn, that's really the order that we put it in. That's crazy. Then came Meg, and then came Sexy Red.
Yeah.
So I feel like we doing the damn thing right now. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like we going a little bit harder than the men.
Oh yeah,
I really feel like we're going a little bit harder than the men,
Yeah.
and I feel like we got a little bit more push behind us because we are females, and it hasn't happened like this in years.
Yeah.
So definitely to piggyback on that for sure. Now, as far as females in the DMV or DMV artist period.
Just you could do both, but just DMV music scene in general.
I'm not gonna lie, I love my DMV music. Love it. You can't forget where you came from. So you got to start from somewhere. And I'm not going to lie, if it wasn't for us, it's a lot of these celebrities out here that wouldn't be where they are because of us. They come here and may take our shit, But if we go there and take their shit, they're going to be mad. But other than that, I want to say I love our sound. Now, some of it is a little repetitive, but you do have some, artists out here who do have, the correct people behind them that are pushing them to a different type of level, to the point where they may be changing up their cadence, or they may be doing a different type of beat, not a DMV beat, So yeah, I want to say I feel like we're doing good. We've had a lot of losses. RIP to the to our little legends that was out here. Rest in peace. But the ones who are still up and popping, let's keep it going. We could switch some things up, like I said, but that's what new artists are for.
So kind of like transitioning to, the modeling side of things. How did you get your start into modeling?
I've been modeling since the age of 12. I used to model for Nike. I did a small shoot for Adidas. My mom, she's been there every step of the way. Every step of the way. I remember she used to get in my ass, like, as far as going to these casting calls and, just going to different states, attending casting calls, and, having to, be a certain way, dress a certain way, hair has to be a certain way for a certain look that they're looking for, especially for print modeling or, doing runway modeling, because all of those are different. A lot of people don't know that. But a print model, magazines, websites and stuff like that. Then you have fashion modeling, or runway modeling, which is walking on the runway. Let's say running on the runway. Walking on the runway. So it's definitely different types of modeling, but I've been modeling since the age of 12. I've done all. And very great experience for me. I want to say, I know I said being a veterinarian was one of my first loves, but I want to say modeling was probably one of my first loves, because it allowed me to be in tune in who I am, be more into my beauty, my flaws, and just getting comfortable with myself and loving the ground that I'm walking on. So, yeah, the age of 12, man, I've been doing it ever since. I still do it. Just very discreetly, but I do it for sure.
Most people don't really know what models usually have to deal with or go through. Like, what are some of the hard parts about modeling?
Judging. I want to say that's a big one, is judging. I want to say another thing is confidence. You have to have confidence, because a lot of people, or a lot of models, have low self-esteem. And little do you know, a lot of models have eating disorders, because they want to look a certain way, or they want to be a certain way, or that's how it was. Because now we have plus size models, we have our petite models, and I'm really happy about that, because coming up on this, it was the whole modeling industry has completely changed. I mean, you got to be a certain height to do runway, you know what I mean? And it's still kind of that now, but now they have shoes, but you have to know how to walk in the shoes. So it's just a whole lot with it, but I feel as though that confidence is definitely another one. Self-esteem, same thing. And also understanding. A lot of people don't understand you. A lot of people may not understand your look. A lot of people may not understand, hey, how in the hell can she do print modeling and she look like that? She got 2 big ass butt teeth. You know what I'm saying? But that might be what they looking for. Like, notice, a lot of, and I love everybody. I love everybody in their own skin. I don't want anybody to change. I'm not gonna judge a person because of how they look. Are you mad because you ain't up there? Or did they ain't choose you? Well, that's why they didn't choose you, because you have a bad attitude. You know, understand? And you might not be, you talking about somebody else, that means you don't love yourself. So I had to learn that a long way during this road as well. But definitely confidence, self-esteem, understanding, and what was the first one I said? Yeah, did you get it?
Did you ever have any self-esteem issues when it came to modeling?
Absolutely. Oh, most definitely. These right here wasn't always like this. I I chipped my tooth at the age of, oh God, 7. I was 7 years old when I chipped my tooth. And I didn't get it fixed until I turned 12. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so that's about 5 years. So I had to go to school with like that, you know, and I had to get comfortable with that. And I hated it so much, but I had people that loved it. That's just something I had to get comfortable with. But as far as with, you know, it's funny because when I got it fixed, that's when I started modeling. Hilarious, hilarious. But yes, I definitely had self-esteem issues. I thought, you know, speaking of the buck-tooth beaver, I used to be one of them. So I had to get used to that. I was too short to do runway, so it was a certain age that I wasn't able to do it, so I had to wait. Or I finessed it and wore longer heels, so they thought I was taller, but, you know. But also, what else? I want to say just, you know, not loving my own flaws was the majority of that. But yeah, I didn't really have too big of an issue, but it was. I definitely had some issues.
So did modeling make it an easy transition for you to start acting, or was it like a completely different thing?
You know, when you put it like that, I want to say modeling definitely made it an easy transition to act, because it's a self-esteem thing, you know? It's a confidence thing. You have to know, and also understanding thing. You have to know what you're doing, understand what you're doing, and love what you're doing to do it. But you also have to love yourself to do it too, you know? Because if you don't love the skin that you're in, how are you gonna love anybody else, or how is anybody else gonna love you? So, definitely, for sure.
How much acting experience have you had so far?
Oh my goodness. I've been acting since I was in private school at the age of, we used to do Christmas plays and stuff. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I've been acting since the age of 7. When was those Christmas plays? 6 or 7, right? Yeah. So about 6 or 7. And it's funny because my cousin, he's a known actor. He used to, I don't know if they're still airing right now, but he played on Survivor's Remorse, The Shaft. It's this show called The Boys on Amazon Prime. So he's been acting, Level Up, what is that, Cartoon Network. Yeah, so he's been doing that since a kid, and you know, I want to say like looking up to that also made it a little bit more easier too, and made me understand it. But like I said, modeling definitely helped me with that because my self-esteem is a little bit more boosted. I'm a little bit more confident. I love myself, or I'm learning to love myself. You know, so like let me see what this is about. So you know, doing that from that age and not even realizing everything that I'm doing and opening myself up to. I've been doing it to answer your question, since the age of 7, and I'm still doing it. I mean, of course I had breaks, but I've done monologues. I used to act in high school. Yeah, so for years, over 10 years.
Is it easy for you to like channel whatever character you playing?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You don't ever have any issue like becoming that person?
Depends on the role. If you need me to sit here and cry my eyes out in 2 minutes, I could probably do it. I could probably do it. Don't ask me to do it. I could probably do it. If you need me to act uppity, I can do it. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, it depends on the roles. Now, if you need me to act that shit, listen.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, we're not gonna speak on that. But yeah, so we all have our days. We all have our days. But yes, I can.
So you talked about earlier, you said, you know, being in different environments, moving around, it kind of helped you, you know, you knew when, you know, you could be, you know, act, you know, like maybe in an uppity way, or act like if you were in a hood area, you could act that way. Did that kind of translate to you acting? It kind of helped you, be able to, play any type of character you needed to
For
do?
sure, because it would bring me back to a certain point that I was at that time. So it would be easy for me to pick that up for those 5 seconds or 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever the case I need to do, So, oh, and basically, I meant to say shout out to Roosevelt Entertainment. Big announcement. We do have a movie coming out in May. It's called A Mother's Adoration. And you'll get to see my little acting skills on there. We got a few other things coming up too. But yes, to answer your question, it definitely helped, for sure, yeah.
Well, obviously, you talk about what you got coming out, but like, do you have or do you want to keep continuing, acting and doing it?
Yes. That's another stream of income. But see, it's not even just about that though. It's because I actually love to do it. It's fun. It keeps me alive too. It keeps me going. It keeps me, I got something to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be surprised how miserable you'll be sitting in a damn house.
On a more personal level, I see you constantly always are every time on one of your Instagram stories, you always are thanking God for another day.
Absolutely.
So did you always have a relationship with God, or did it something that you grew into as you got older?
So as I stated, my twin brother and I, we've been in private school. We started at 4? Private school at 4? Since we were in diapers. We didn't go to private school until we were no, I'm sorry, public school. We didn't go to public school till middle school. Middle school, 7th grade. Yeah, so we've been, we've been all around God. I remember this like it was yesterday. I want to say it was maybe probably 4. And I remember my class, we were sitting in a circle, and those little box TVs? Yeah. I don't know if you ever remember this, but the little cart they used to roll on?
Yeah.
So I remember we're all sitting in the circle, right? Yeah. And they got the little box TV, right? So it was movie time. So I remember this like it was yesterday. We learned the whole Bible in an hour from watching that movie. And it stuck with me. Even some of the downloads that I would get would stick with me. And I'm like, why I keep seeing this? Or why I keep seeing that? To throw this out there, this is random. Sorry, Mom. But my mom is very powerful as well. So, she can vision things, right? Sorry, Mom. She can vision things, right? But her visions are in dreams. So, and if this relates to anybody out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But her downloads come in dreams. And she would never understand it. She would never understand. She's like, why the hell I keep seeing this? And I saw this. And she's like, man, no, I saw this. And a week later, this shit happened. But the dream, her downloads aren't with the person that's in the dream. It might be somebody that person knows, somebody that's close to that person. So if she had a dream about my twin brother, it's not my twin brother. It may be my twin brother's friend, or it may be my friend that may know him. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that. But just to say, been all around God for sure. And, going to a private school, going to church, being in the choir. I used to be an usher as well. Don't do too much. Don't do too much. But yes, I used to be an usher for a church. And I've always been close to God, and I will never make it without him. I won't make it in nothing. I won't make it in music. I won't make it in eating. I won't make it in drinking. I won't make it in anything if I don't put him first. So God and I, we have a very, very close relationship. It's closer than these 2 fingers together, okay? It's closer than these hands together. It's closer than anything you can ever imagine together. That's my dog. Like, I don't talk to him like, God, please, can you do that? No, hey, bro, look, I need to talk to you real quick. Can you come sit down real quick? Just let me feel a piece of air or something so I know you sitting here and I'm listening. I mean, you listening to me, okay? Let me tell you what happened today, even though you already knew what was going to happen. But let me just tell you, because I need to talk to you real quick. Like, you know? But no, I mean, if I don't thank him, who am I? I've came very far. So, hell yes, for sure.
Is it, like, you see how with most people, like, who have grown up in the church, usually, like, when they get older, sometimes they kind of, like, tend to, kind of drop a lot of the beliefs that they had. What is it, what was it with you that made you, kind of stick with your faith and stick with, God and not, want to drop your beliefs and everything?
Wow, it's like you read my mind. Because, like, in my head, I'm like, I want to tell the story about what happened, but I'm going to wait. Like, wow, that's crazy. So it gets a little personal, but I'll explain it. It was just a few, like, mind you, I've always been close to God, always. But what brought me closer to him was back in 2018, I had a very close call. And my mom can sit here and tell you all about it. I had a very close call, and actually this was before my son was born, 3 years before he was born. Back in 2018, I had a surgery, right? And I'm not gonna go into detail, but because of the surgery, well, I had to have surgery because my fallopian tubes burst. So women, you have 2 fallopian tubes. I only have one. One of them burst. So I had to get a blood transfusion. And the reason I had to get a blood transfusion is because, I don't know if you know this, but your blood platelets, you know what those are? Okay, your blood platelets are what keeps you alive. It's what helps fight the germs off of red and white blood cells. So it basically keeps them working together, but also working apart because, red blood cells are for bacteria and white blood cells are for cancers, right? So therefore, they're going to be fighting 2 different battles, but they're also working together, and your blood platelets are what keeps them working together. So basically, in reality, I don't know if you guys know this, but you're supposed to have 150 to 300. Then during that time, I only had 23. Nowhere near 100. So from what they say, from what they told me, I was dying slowly and didn't even know. So and it affects your attitude, anemia, everything, right? Didn't even know. It was times I was waking up upset, not even realizing why the hell I'm waking up upset. There's times I'm feeling sick, not trying to figure out why I'm feeling sick. I'm passing out in the shower, trying to figure out why the hell am I passing out in the shower, like. So anyways, long story short, got a blood transfusion. That's why I got a blood transfusion, because my blood platelets were low. Got that, come to find out I'm allergic to anesthesia. I went into cardiac arrest twice. The first time I went to cardiac arrest was during the anesthesia that they were giving me. The second time I went to cardiac arrest was because of the blood transfusion. So my mom, she could tell you a little bit about, what happened, but we're not gonna do that right now because it's a little touchy subject. But long story short, again, I woke up with a tube down my throat, hysterectomy bag, and like I said, I was on my deathbed. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to use the bathroom again, pee and both, So like I said, I'm sorry, y'all, TMI, a little touchy. But here I am today, waking up with the tube down my throat was like devastating. All I remember is like, I open my eyes and my mom, she's literally sitting to the right of me. And I look at her and she looks like she don't want to cry, like she's trying not to cry. And obviously I had to turn my head back because I feel like pain in my throat. So still not realizing that the damn tube is down my throat. Like I'm about to say something. And I remember my mom saying, don't say nothing. Just don't say nothing. And I'm like, and then I move my tongue around and I can't even move my tongue because it's pinned to the bottom of my mouth, So anyway, that situation definitely brought me closer to God because first of all, when I went to go get my sonogram that day, I had one of the doctors, the sonogram guy asked me for my autograph, and I thought he was playing. Like, I thought he was kidding. Like, mind you, I'm laid back, weak as fuck, like trying to get my life together, like trying to figure out what the fuck happened, why did it happen to me, just trying to figure stuff out, but still in positive spirits, right? And so he's like, oh, you're Miss Gant. For those of you who do not try to use my last name, don't play with me. Don't play with me, okay? Don't play with me. Don't rewind this back either trying to figure out what my whole government is, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. But he's like, oh, you're Miss Gant. May I have your autograph? So mind you, I'm flat laid out, naked as fuck, but with the night on me, a little blanket covering, so I'm looking at him like, I get to laugh, and I'm like, laughing, like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, I'm serious. And I said, he said, you went a cardiac arrest twice. I can't say too much, but I would love your autograph. And I said, you're serious? And he said, yes, I'm so serious. Took out his notebook, drew a line, made me sign it. Made me print, and then made me sign my signature. And since then, I was like, wow, okay. I go up to the room. After that, it's about 6 doctors waiting there for me, right? They're all just, and I'm like, okay, like, what's going on? One of the doctors whispered to me that I went in a cardiac arrest twice, right? But this was after he said it. Mind you, he wasn't even supposed to tell me. So he threw that out there. I didn't even know what happened. I didn't even know, I'm out of it, right? So I'm like, what? So next thing you know, the doctors are like, yeah, Ms. Ganton, you went in a cardiac arrest twice. You're lucky to be here. We've never had anybody in this hospital go into cardiac arrest twice and come back. So in my head, I'm thinking they're like, damn, what really is my purpose? Like, it's obviously I'm here for a reason, right? So ever since then, I just started, literally ever since that day, I started thanking God every day. And I get so many DMs, so many DMs like, yo, you don't never stop. Like I said, I can't. I feel like that's part of the reason to help other people know who God is. I've had people who, you won't even believe how many thank you God for another day I see on my timeline now. You would never believe it. Before, I would never see it. I would never see it, other than mine. But now, oh my God, 13, rest in peace. Rest in peace, 13. I want to say it was like maybe a month before he passed. He DM'd me. He was like, yo, I've noticed that you're always posting thank you God for another day. Like, I see that now. And he's like, it's because of you is the reason why I'm gaining a relationship with him. And I said, don't stop. Continue. Because he's the one that's going to see you through. And I promise you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. A couple weeks later, that man passed away. Wasn't really close to God like that. But because of the post that he's seen, he started to be more in tune. So it's people that I would never expect to post thank you God for another day, and they post thank you God for another day. But that's not why I do it, though. That situation is just not one situation. That's just one of many. That's a drastic situation. But my relationship with God will always become stronger than anything else, because he's making me who I am today. So,
what did something like that do for you? As far as you talk about how you had kind of like connected him with God, by you posting so much, you kind of inspired other people to take action as far as getting their relationship with God. How does that make you feel, knowing that you were kind of like a catalyst for other people getting to know God?
It makes me feel amazing. I feel like each time that I help someone connect with God, I feel like it puts me on a high vibration. I feel like it opens me up to, mind you, because this sounds a little crazy, but I don't care who it sounds crazy to, because it's true. But I can speak to God directly. You know how sometimes when you pray, or you know how at times when you pray, I don't know if you know this, but when you pray, there's always angels around you, right? But when you pray, it's going to be that one that's sending that prayer up. You get what I'm saying? So it doesn't directly shoot it does, excuse me, because the angels are with him, obviously, okay? But other than that, like, it's one carrying the prayer up there. Me, I don't have to deal with that. And I got a download of that. So I know that for a fact, right? So therefore my manifestations and things happen a little bit more quicker for me because I do have a more so of a closer connection with God, you know? So it makes me feel great. It makes me feel like I'm doing what God needs me to do. That's just one of my callings he needs me to do, and doing it.
How has motherhood changed your life?
I've always been on my P's and Q's. I've always been on my 10 toes, but my son, he has made it even more exquisite, like more, you know, like more, nope, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, nope, this first and then that, or nope, that first and then this. Like, he's brought me through so much already, and he's only 4. He'll be 5 this year, right? Like, that coming out of my mouth is crazy. Me having a son, that coming out of my mouth is crazy. Like, he's been here for 4 years already, and it's still shocking to me that I'm a mom. Like, you know? So, no, he enlightens me, man, and he's one of my biggest motivations as well. So, you know, I thank God every day for him. He's definitely one of the chosen ones for sure, and he pushes me all the time. He's great motivation. He's one of my major biggest fans. He knows how to go to YouTube and cut on my music videos. Like, he knows how to go to Apple Music and search my music. Like, it's crazy.
When you found out you were gonna become a mother, what was your initial like reaction? Like, were you nervous, or did you not know how you would be able to handle motherhood?
You're probably gonna be like, what? But I didn't find out I was pregnant until I was 8 weeks. Okay. And finding out then, remember that surgery I told you about? So they told me, mind you, that was 3 years before my son came, right? Now, this is no coincidence, okay? I was told back then that if I wanted to get pregnant, I would have to wait 3 years. I'm looking at them damn doctors like they goddamn crazy, because why would you ever tell me that? I'm not even trying to get pregnant. So great, good to know, because it's gonna go longer than that, okay? Baby, I lie to you not. 3 years later on the dot, I found out I was pregnant with my son. 3 years later, exactly. That situation happened November 11th, 2018. He came 3 years later of that date. Exactly. So, I don't know, man. That's a chosen one right there. Like, God blessed me with him. I was definitely scared as fuck. Damn. Especially because of the surgery. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how I was gonna do this. I didn't know if I was gonna die. I didn't know what was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I feel like it just, as the belly got bigger, I got a little bit more confident. And I just told myself, obviously talk to God too. It was like, just give me the strength. Like, I've never done this before. I don't know. I'm scared. I don't know what it feels like pushing a human outside of me. I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what it's going to feel like when he's moving around. I don't know what it's going to be like when I try to eat this food. I don't know what it's going to be like when I try to breathe this thing in. I don't know. So I was scared as hell. But as the time went on, he's like, no, hold on. My son is too much, y'all. He's right here in this interview, by the way. He's over here looking at me like, Mom. Like, literally, like, I wish y'all can see him right now. Goodness gracious, you're grown, like, stop. But, yeah, no, he's my biggest blessing, for sure.
What is it like balancing, being a mom and, basically having your career, doing everything that you do?
I don't know. If y'all looking for me to say the shit is easy, you lied. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's not easy, okay? Because balancing being a mom and being a human being and balancing everything that I have to do for myself as well, for him, and taking the time out for myself is hard. It's very hard because, like I said in the beginning of this, I'm a single mom. I'm his mom and his dad. No shade. No shade. But, you know, under circumstances, it's what it is. It's what God wants right now. So it's really hard though, but it's becoming easier. My mom, she's definitely one of my biggest help for sure. My twin brother and my older brother helps as well. My dad too at times when he can. And my sisters as well. Shout out to my sisters, you know, they'll help too. And they were a big help as far as when it came to him too. But it's definitely hard. You know, I work 25/8. I work 6 days a week. My son is in school. My mom works too, you know, on top of me doing content and music and doing hours in the studio. And sometimes he'll go with me to the studio, you know, and he'll sit just like he's sitting now. Y'all don't hear a peep. Y'all don't hear nothing. Exactly. That's my point. That's my point, okay? So I can take him to the studio with me. He's here on this interview with me. He's been in my video shoots, you know. He hasn't been at any photo shoots yet. But it's hard, but it's easy at the same time because I'm not gonna lie, during a lot of it, he does help me out. He does help me. But maintaining it all is a little hard. It's a little hard, but we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it, and that's all glory to God. All glory to God.
I seen that you know do a lot of collaborations with like you know different people in the DMV. Pre Hefner, you know in particular.
Yes.
Well, how did that like collaboration come about? Like, how did you link up with him?
Okay. So, I've actually met Pre through his manager. I've known his manager for years. You know, we were like this. You know, he's actually introduced me to a lot of people too in the DMV. He actually put me on with a lot of the things that I do now too. Don't get me wrong, he did. And I thank him every day for that because you know he didn't have to do that. You know, he used to coach me at times too. He used to get in my ass like, Bae'Jon, you need to do this content. Like, do this content. Like, you keep playing, I'm gonna let you hold this ring light. Hold it for however long you need to hold it. This was when I didn't even have my own ring light, so he let me use his. He's like, you know, do that content with this. Do that content with this. And yeah, I met him through him, and I want to say, like I said, I've known him for years now. And I want to say, we're coming up on a year or two. Maybe about almost, yeah, about a year, almost two, yeah, something like that.
What like when you're doing like skits and things like that? What is that process like? Is it like somebody reaches out to you and say, "Hey, I want you in this skit," or is it just like you reach out and it's something that you want to be involved in?
They'll reach out to me. It's kind of both, because you know what. Now we'll all sit there and talk about you know the type of skits that we think he should do, or that we think we all should do, or whatever the case may be, or what would be a good look, or nobody's done this, or we think you should do this, or whatever the case may be. So they'll ask me to be a part of it, and then I'll also, you know, be like, oh shit, y'all better do that. Oh yeah, I'm in that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's like vice versa. I mean, both ways.
What is it like being on his live stream?
Man, that was new. That was new. That was new for me, but it was lit. It was really lit. Loved it. Great. It was fun.
Is this something that you like a one-time thing, or is it something that you'll continue to do?
Oh no, it would definitely be something that I would definitely continue to do. I'm actually coming up with my own as well. I have a little bit of stuff in the making that I'm doing, but yeah. So tune into that, y'all, when the time comes.
So as far as like you know, the people that you keep around you and like you know inner circle and you know friend group and everything, has there ever been like, and you don't have to like get specific or anything, but are there like ever like people that you had to like kind of like remove yourself from as you continue to like grow in your career?
Absolutely. It's happening now, actually.
What is that process like? Like when you had to do something like that?
And to bring it all back, it's not even me, it's God. He removes people from your life for a reason. Some people are in your life for a reason. Some people are in your life for a season. And, sometimes you got to take a couple steps back to move a million steps forward. And sometimes you got to sit back and reevaluate some things. Sometimes you got to sit back and figure out, well, why is this happening like this when all this time it wasn't happening like this? What's changed? Or, okay, since now it's going like this, what's causing this? So, but in order to figure all of that out, you got to take a couple steps back, or you got to exclude yourself from a couple, from whoever you need to exclude yourself from. I'm big on energy. I'm big on peace. I'm very powerful as a person. God made me this way. I'm so sorry. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? Don't shoot the person that's doing it. You got to talk to God about it, because I don't know, okay? But thank you, though. But it's hard. It's hard, because you may have been locked in with someone or people for years, or it might have been a little bit of time that you've been locked in with them, but you guys have such a great, powerful connection. So it hurt a little bit, but you gotta take that shit and chin up. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep your chin up, and just, if it's really messing with you, be like, yo, God, like, I really need some answers real quick. But when he reveals those answers, don't be upset at the answers that you get. So, like I said, it's hard, but you get through it, and what's real will always resurface. So.
Lastly, I want to ask, so with 2025 starting, what is coming up for Bae'Jon in 2025?
I don't think I want to say that. No, I'm just. You got a lot of people that like to project, okay, and I don't like projecting. But okay, so. What's new? I've already told y'all a little bit of tea, okay? We got the movie coming out, okay? That's just one of many, but okay. So there you go on that. What's new? My business. My business is expanding. I have some things coming up for that. Bulk items that you guys will be able to purchase. Also, what's new? More music. Y'all already know more music. It's gonna be a little bit different this year. A little bit different, radio stations. That's all I'm gonna say is just radio stations. So when you hear that, little baby is Big Bae'Jon, or that you niggas be loud, what? Okay, you know who it is. Okay. Also, a lot of traveling. So vlogging as well. I am going to be posting more on my YouTube, y'all. Y'all been chewing me out. I got you, okay? The content is coming. Y'all got to be patient. Peace, be still, okay? It's coming though. But a lot. It's just a lot. Mind you, I'm doing it by myself. Yeah. So it's going to take a little bit more time, but a lot for 2025 for Big Bae'Jon.
All right,
Yeah.
Bae'Jon, thank you for pulling up. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yes.